You can't put things in containers that don't exist. That might seem like common sense, but when the Lord told it to me last week, it was actually very freeing. So welcome to Monday with Mukkove. I'm Mukkove Johnson, a Christian women's life coach, and you cannot climb on that. And I'm having challenges today with my youngest. Thankfully, I don't have to be perfect to be able to help someone else figure out strategies that work for their life and to walk them into the peace and destiny that God has for them. So last week you need to be quiet or you're going to go play.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And I guess I should have written down, I don't remember exactly now what it was, but I was frustrated with how much I was getting done, both in my writing. I'm trying to get editing done on Mist Majesty, and I was also trying to get salsa done. So if you get my email, you saw I did salsa last week, 23.5 quarts of salsa. You be still or you get down. Okay, thank you. And so obviously that took my editing time, and then just stuff around the house that was kind of like, oh, I'm frustrated with this, and put it away, and like that he told you cannot put things in containers that don't exist. So whether I was trying to put tasks like editing into okay. Go play and have fun instead of sitting here disrupting me. Okay, then you sit quietly. Okay. So you don't laugh louder than I'm talking. Tasks need containers for me. Like there has to be a time when I'm going to get the salsa done. There has to be a time when I'm going to be able to do the editing. That's the container to put the task in. And so if I'm trying to get all these things done, but I haven't made the time and the space to get them done, then it's obviously I'm just setting myself up for frustration. So for the tasks that need to be done, I need to set up containers so those can actually be done. Putting papers into files. Do I have files to put them away? And I actually do, and I have a super simple filing system that I love and still neglect to use far too often. But it's a simple, you have 26 file folders, which might sound overwhelming, but it's super simple because you have one for every month of the year and then a tax file for that year. So there's 13 files for even years and odd years. And so we're currently in 2019. It's the odd year. So for the month of August, that becomes the front folder. And any paperwork that I think I might need to reference that comes to me in August goes in that file folder. And then when September comes, I pull out the September file, which will have stuff from 2017 in it because that was the last odd year. I can quickly flip through and see if there's anything that I still want to keep. And if I do, I can decide if it just stays in that folder or if I want to put it in another location. But typically, like everything just comes out and I throw it away and it's ready to fill up for 2019 because with being able to get things online and reference, like the chances that we need a piece of paper are pretty slim, but sometimes it's handy to have it there. So, and so that just rotates. So like just super simple. And then if it's something that's relevant to taxes, do not climb on the chair. It goes in the tax folder for odd year, even year, whichever it is. So I have those containers, but I have to use them. And then excuse me, for other things, like just looking around my house and seeing different things that are a mess, realizing like, oh, I don't actually have a container for that. I don't actually have a place to put this away or the time to put it away. And then emotions, and my emotions have kind of been all over the place. It feels like as I'm working on Mess to Majesty, like he's just reaffirming to me that even in my mess, he's there, and I can bring my mess to his majesty, and he's okay with that. But the emotions, the container that he showed me for emotions is that emotions they give us helpful information. And so if we actually take the time to put the emotion, I guess, to listen to the emotion so that we can get the information and do something with it. Like, are my emotions telling me that I need some more sleep? Or as I'm feeling right now with my toddler, we need a lot more training. There's valuable information there from the emotions, instead of just wanting the emotions to go away or Tegan, stop. Whatever it is that, and for our children, it was especially helpful for me when my older ones were younger, and I guess we'll get to that point again with this one, is that emotions create energy. And so if you don't teach them where to put that energy, then like that's just one of those things of there's containers for that. Like if you've got this energy, what's something constructive and helpful you can do with it? What information are you giving from this emotion so that you can do something helpful with it? Hi, Renee and Tanner and Casey. Thanks for joining, guys. I was talking, the Lord told me last week that you can't put things in containers that don't exist. And so that can be tasks into specific time frames, that can be paperwork into files, it can be emotions into helpful information. And another area that he showed me was truth or hard feedback into information that can be useful to, making adjustments, or because it can be hard to hear the truth of, like, you're just not thinking about this in a biblical perspective. Like, you're focusing on the negative and what's not working instead of looking at all that God has done. And that's hard to hear that. But if I have a space for that in a container to like evaluate, is this true or not? And okay, it is. So now what am I going to do with it? And so like just yesterday, like had several of those conversations with my husband of different places where like I'm like, this just isn't working. I'm failing at this. And he's like, no, it's not looking like you wanted it to. It's not looking like you were anticipating, but it's not failing. It's working. It's producing fruit. It's just not producing the fruit you were hoping for. And like, in a way that was really ouch. But then also to be able to go, okay, yeah, that hurts, but I don't want that to be true of me. So now I can change and I can work on shifting my perspective. One of those things is energy. I haven't had energy, part of it, like it went here, but I haven't had energy even longer than that. But I really haven't had any energy since she's been born, conceived. And about this time last year, I started a journey to try and do something about that. And, I just told him, I was telling my husband, I'm like, it didn't work. I don't have any more energy than I did a year ago. And I put in all this effort and all this time, and it's so frustrating. And, he's like, okay, so maybe you don't have more energy, but you're healthier than you've ever been. And you lost all of the baby weight again, and like just different things that are good things that have come out of it. And like, yeah, your energy's not where you want it to be, but that doesn't mean that none of this was worthwhile. And that's part of like that all or nothing thinking. Those aren't good containers, by the way. But all or nothing, there's a lot more containers than that. But if I don't have a place where I can hear that hard feedback, then it doesn't do me any good. It just wounds me because somebody criticized me or doesn't like how I'm doing something. And that wounding isn't helpful. And then the final container that he talked to me about, or thing that needs a container, is your voice. And sometimes it can feel like no one is listening, but that's never true. And especially if you're a mom, they're listening. They might not be responding the way you want them to, but they're listening. And he's always listening. He always wants to hear what you have to say. And he might give you other containers and other places where you can speak also, but the most important is that your voice matters to yourself, to speak up for what you need, what you want, how you see things, and that you can always speak to him. He's always listening and cares what you have to say and what, wants to hear your voice. He created it. You're his child. He wants to hear what you have to say. So if you have any thoughts or questions, I would love that. My wiggler seems to have settled down, but we'll see. So I just hope that was helpful. It was very freeing to me to realize, like, okay, part of why I'm so frustrated is because I'm trying to put things in containers that don't exist. If I was trying to make my salsa, if I made my salsa and didn't have any jars to put it in, that would be frustrating. And so just to look at the rest of your life, if there's somewhere that's frustrating, and maybe even drop a comment of like, okay, this is frustrating me, but like, what container do I need for this? To realize that we can prepare and do things to make things easier on ourselves, instead of just continuing to beat ourselves up because things aren't working the way that we thought they should or wanted them to. So hope you have a blessed last week of August. I can't believe that we're here already, but we are. And if you'd ever like to chat, I will drop a link for that. If you would like a notification of when I'll be going live, I'll drop a link for that. And if you want to be up to date on what's happening with Mess to Majesty and maybe be part of the launch team, I'll drop a link for that too. So I'll be dropping a bunch of links, I guess. I appreciate you guys following along and hope this was a blessing. If nothing else, she's cute. So have a great day.
What you got?